Hey, podcast listeners, this is your boy Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. You guys are in for a dynamic treat. This lady here that I'm bringing to the stage is a powerhouse of knowledge. She is diverse and a multitude and wise beyond her years. I can't wait to bring her to the stage. So you guys gotta stay tuned, stay with us, stay engaged. You won't want to miss 1 second of this powerhouse lady I'm bringing to the stage. Powerful, powerful. Here we go. Please help me welcome to the stage. I want to introduce this fabulous lady, Miss Katrina Roddy. She's a Chicago, Illinois native. Katrina Roddy worked for 30 years in corporate insurance before being laid off. We all know that all too well, especially coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. And she is here on a mission to share her entrepreneurial journey and to share her growth and her expansion in business and her book. It was at that moment when she got laid off that she chose to take her acquired skills in corporate America and create her own career as an author and entrepreneurial coach. She is the best-selling author of the Steal Your Skills from Corporate America book, which she will coach you and me through the mindset it takes to transition from employee to status to becoming the CEO of your own life. So help me welcome to the stage the incredible, the amazing Miss Katrina Roddy.
I feel like I was at the Apollo, Marcus. Welcome to the stage.
As long as we don't get the log, right? Yeah. We don't want the log or the clown.
Or the Sandman to come out. No, we don't need that.
Thank you for joining me, Miss Katrina. This is epic. It is a pleasure to have such a powerhouse speaker. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. Thank you, Miss Erica Holmes. She's also in Chicago. She's like, hey, another Chicagonian. Yeah. Rock on, rock on. Round of applause, round of applause. Welcome to the stage. So, diving right in, ma'am, you are amazing. Your resume is extensive. And when you too many Americans, COVID-19 was a dumpster fire. Too many experienced the layoffs and the pain and the hurt of getting laid off in 2020. What inspired you? How did you survive your layoff after being so successful and giving so much in insurance and climbing the corporate ladder, right? How did you make the transition? What skills did you learn and what would you tell other people out in the audience to acquire?
So thank you for asking that, Marcus. I did not go through the pandemic era of being laid off, but the emotions that came with that are the same that I had when I was let go 4 years ago. And so to start my journey, I started off in insurance right out of high school. I started my corporate job right out of high school. So June, I graduated high school. July, I was working corporate America. And it's all because I went to a very strict business school here in Chicago, Robert Morris University. I went to Robert Morris and I qualified for a program that allowed me to work part-time, and that would become one of my classes. And then I'd go to school. So they would report back to the job would report to my school, how she's dressing, how is she doing business-wise, is she understanding? And I appreciate that 100%. Think about this. Your mom out of college, your parents, I should say, both of my parents, most people think about how much do I have to pay for books, how much my parents had to pay for me to get suits. And you know how expensive suits are.
Yes.
So money. Yeah, I had to wear a suit. I had to do everything. So that's what afforded me to start school so early. I mean, I started in corporate so early. So by the time I, got to my end at 30 years later, I was just ready. And it was my curiosity that kept me going and kept me in corporate and kept me moving outside of corporate. The skills that I acquired there, I just remember at a younger age being in corporate, and I was part of everybody's program, right? I was in a future leaders program, I was apprentice, I was whatever came up, I raised my hand for. And I just remember them sending us etiquette classes. Can you believe that? Telling us how, if we're faced with a CEO or some higher ups in the company, how to hold our glass, how not to drink too much, how to have your plate in your hand and network. So I learned like a lot of these things. And then we would be put in presentations. We'd have to do presentations. When I got like towards the middle of my career, I started working in a very high profile area of insurance called corporate insurance, or major accounts, national accounts, major accounts. This is where I really honed in on who I was as a person, and I realized what my love was in making sure that people are taken care of. When you work on an account such as Costco, Saks
Mhm.
Fifth Avenue, Discover Card, all of these big name people, like State Farm would get insurance from us. Allstate would get insurance from us. So we were a big company. I survived the AIGs of the world through the financial crisis. So when you work in that area, you have nothing but time to build relationships, because that's, people are trusting that you know what you're doing and they want to know who you are as a person. So that's one of the skills that I really honed in on. I really honed in on relationship builders. So by the time I finished with my career in insurance, I knew for sure I was a damn good relationship manager. Does this make sense?
That makes absolute sense. That makes perfect sense, right? And
Yeah.
so when the world seemingly turned its back on you, you didn't give up. You pushed through, you pushed forward, and you kept going, and you revamped, right? You re
Yes.
not and not necessarily created something new, but you took what you stole, which is what your title of your book is.
Yep.
You took what you had acquired over the years of working with corporate America, and you made it fit you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what the book does. The book talks about taking what you already have, and you coach to this, you mentor this
Yes.
to young men and women, and just say, hey, what do you do? What do you do? Well, you are a multitasker, right? You organize the calendar, you fed copy machine paper, you answer telephones, you cleaned out fax machines when they jam. You are a multitasker. That is
You
a
have a
skill that
skill.
corporate.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have a skill. And I'm glad you brought that up, because oftentimes I'll do an interview and someone may say, Katrina, what if I weren't in corporate? And I think about those I think about those individuals who their child may be on a sport, a team sport, right? They
Right.
may have you work concessions. They may have you scheduling carpools. They may have you doing something because they realize you're good at that. You do it with no thought because it's a skill of yours. It is a skill of yours. You see those people on those reality shows that can organize a whole closet. They put all the oranges together, the reds, the green. I can't do that. I look at them with amaze. I'm like, wow, that's all they're doing, but that's a skill of theirs. So you don't necessarily have to come out of corporate and have skills. And I say this, oh, with all my heart. You have something, and it takes a person like me to just say, stand on the sideline and say, hey, I know what you got. I'm listening to you. Guess what you are, Marcus? You're very good at communication. Podcasts are your thing. This is why you do them, because you're good at it. So skills don't necessarily have to come from corporate. That's just where mine happened to come from. And I worked so hard when I got laid off. The thing that I tell people, and when you get laid off, it's a relationship breakup. So the name of my company is The Corporate Breakup. So my website is www.thecorporatebreakup.com. And the reason it's called the corporate breakup, because when you leave a company, it's just like a regular relationship breakup, right? So there could be anxiety, there could be sleeplessness, there can be anger. That's, a lot of people go through
Mhm.
anger, and they go through these emotions. And what I've realized is that these are the same emotions that you go through when you have a personal breakup. What happens, the difference between corporate and a regular relationship breakup? Have you ever had a breakup and you have your friends come over and they'll bring wine, they'll bring food, ice cream, whatever, comforting food. They'll hug you, try to tell you to work on yourself before you move forward. That
I don't have
happens.
friends like that. I don't keep friends like that.
But at some point, someone is encouraging you to just kind of hold on and get to the next relationship. Marcus, when you break up with corporate, they're like, that girl needs to find another job.
Mhm.
Period. There's nothing else that goes with that. So I wanted to create a space where people can actually go through the emotions of a corporate breakup. It's really hard. As you said, during this pandemic has shown us the most breakups, the most uneasiness, because companies are going to do what they want to do. They don't really involve you. They just figure out how it works for them, and you may get caught up in it. I was in a high profile area of my company, which I thought would never, and I'm being very honest with you, would never let us go. We were the relationships, we were the heartbeat of the company. We brought in the most money, we honed in on these relationships. We're like, well, how could they do that to us? And it was one restructure of the company that they decided we're going to try something different. And it didn't involve us. And so
Makes
that
sense.
is what kind of pushed me out. There were five of us in my group, in the senior executives, and four of them, because I was always the youngest in different areas, four of them were like, yay, we're retiring. And I was like, I can't. I can't retire. That's not me. But what I knew for sure is that I did not want to go back into corporate.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. We're not going back into corporate America. We refuse to go back into corporate America. We can't do it. Um, the Gentleman Style Podcast mascot agrees with you. No going back to corporate America. You all stay tuned. We have Miss Roddy. We go into a quick commercial break. You guys stay tuned. Stay with us. Stay engaged. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels. Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level, Duke Duchess, which is our season level, and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, well, some, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. Welcome back, y'all. We are here. We have Miss Katrina Roddy, and she just broke down her transition out of corporate America, and she is spilling all, well, she can't spill all the tea. You got to get the book. You got to get the book to get the rest of the tea, right? But that's how we did, and this is perfect timing. She is right on time to share what we need to survive and make the mindset shift to get out and do what it is we truly have a passion for. And that's what she coaches to. That's what she mentors to. And that's what we need. Her leading the charge and coaching businesses to the next level. I wanted to say thank you. I have to point this out. Miss Erica Holmes is a VIP sponsor of the show, and this contribution, we thank you. We appreciate you very, very much. This contribution helps us find great guests to the show. So thank you, Miss Erica, for your contribution. And she has a question for you,
Sure.
Miss Roddy. And so we are going to fire it off here. Miss Erica Holmes, our VIP sponsor, asks, how do you feel about how relaxed corporate America is now?
Is it relaxed, Erica?
Mm, mm.
I don't necessarily know if it's relaxed. I think they're shifting. They're trying to keep up with what's going on in the world today. There's a lot of diversity issues. If you pay attention to different corporate organization. The buzzword now is diversity and inclusion, DEI. They're hiring DEI people. They're hiring DEIB, I believe, are the acronyms as well. And they're trying to figure out their way through corporate, right? And they're just trying to figure out how do I serve people the best way I can? And I've done interviews on this as well. And there were always a couple of myths to diversity. One biggest myth is we are diverse. Because if you look around, there's a mixture of women, there's a mixture of class, there's a mixture of, different races. You see that. But what people don't realize is diversity doesn't come by itself. It has to be inclusion. So it's like, peanut butter has to come with jelly. Up comes with down. Right comes with left. You can't have diversity without inclusion. Do not hire me if you can't include me. And that's all I wanted to say on that. But I don't feel it's as relaxed. If you mean like as far as their attire, as far as, an environment, I think they're trying to cater to Gen Z and they're trying to cater to millennials, if that's what you see in a relaxed area. But for the most part, the structure of corporate, I don't feel like relaxed. Does that make sense, Erica? My Chicagoan.
Fellow Chicagoan. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is huge.
Yes, relationship building is huge. It's whatever you do, it's part of it.
Absolutely.
I like that.
It is. She is wise. Wise beyond years. I am surrounded by powerful and enthusiastic. You got to surround yourself with good people. That's one skill. What other skills that you teach to, that you talk about in the book? What skills should we be stealing from corporate America? Right? Because I heard a friend, she said, she while she's at her job, if they're going to pay for all these certifications and licenses, she's going to take it because this can help her on the outside after she leaves. But what other skills should we be taking from corporate America while we are in there?
Communication. If they give you a chance to present or speak, practice right there. Practice right there. Take your communication skills. Practice your skills. I always say the biggest part of communication is listening. It's not talking, it's actually listening. That's the hugest thing. You take all of that, you find out, your skills could be beyond. You can have mathematical skills that are there. You can have communication skills. There's several levels of skills. The SWOT analysis is huge. You can do all of that. And pull whatever skill, whatever makes you feel good. There's a part of your job when you sit down, you say, I wish I can do this all day. I know there are people who say that at their job. That's probably because you're skilled in that. And the other parts are hard. So here's a thing I want to share with you. I am not good at admin. I'm just not. But that was because you work in an environment and everybody does something different, right? So my neighbor did something different. I did something different. This other person did. I didn't have to learn their jobs. When you become an entrepreneur, you got to do all of that. You have to. And then you have to get to a point where you say, okay, I know I wasn't good at this. Another thing that will help you determine what you were good at, think about your performance reviews. You've had them over the years. One lady always asked me, well, what was your green light? What consistently showed up? And that is the thing that you're skilled in. What consistently shows up? Admin did not show up in my green light. It was like, she knows how to do it, but she don't want to. It was just too much. So guess what? I have a person that helps me with that because that is her green light. She loves that. So there are different skills that you can take. If they're teaching you something there, you're basically an apprentice the entire time. You're learning from whatever you can do. You're learning what to do right and what to do wrong in a business by working in that business.
True. Facts. Hashtag facts. Yep. Big facts. You correlated it so well and you blended the two so well. A corporate firing or a corporate layoff is similar to it's similar to a breakup, a relationship breakup. It is a relationship, friendship. It's a ship that has now ended and has now set sail. How do you heal? What are some ways we can heal that you mentioned in the book? We can heal from that corporate breakup.
So, what I like to say is you're going to go through these emotions, and this is part of mindfulness, right? Part of mindfulness is being able to be mindful of things, have intention for it. You're going to feel anger, you're going to feel anxiety, you're going to feel all of those sleep disturbances. You're going to feel that, and I want you to. Don't just jump to the next thing and think you're covering it up. That's a band aid. But feel that, know what it feels like because you don't want to go through it again. So if you don't know what it feels like, you may go through it again and again. So understand what that feels like. And then after you get over that, because you can't stay in that space, it hurts to stay in that space. You have to make moves. And moves is an acronym. First part is mindset reset. That comes from working out. It comes from meditation. It comes from eating healthy. If you need to go boxing, you need whatever you need to do to get your mind focused on yourself. Just think about this. If you work out and you feel good about it, you've just put all the attention back on you. And that's what you need to do. You need to make moves and you bring that back. So that's mindfulness. The second thing is the O. The O is own a new title. So many people are stuck on. I used to be a CEO. I used to be an SVP. I used to be an COO, whatever their title was, because that's what the job told you you were. But how about create the CEO of your life? Be the CEO of your own life. Nothing's bigger than that title. The V is value your relationships. And I say that because you have all these amazing people that are around you that uplift you. Use those relationships to build, how about a personal board of directors? Have 5 people that do 5 different things that help support you. You're going to need the biggest support you can have when you go into entrepreneurship. The E is the most important, but you have to evaluate your money situation. You have to evaluate your money situation. Every person comes from a relationship with money, whether it's their huge saver, huge spender. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Everybody has that. And I like to say, like, I came from humble beginnings because my parents came from humble beginnings. And guess what? Their parents came from humble beginnings. And it's just a trail that goes along. So you have to realize what is your relationship with money and how do I adjust that to fit me now as a new entrepreneur? And the last thing I'd like to say on moves is the S, and that is share your story. You have to be the most vulnerable person that you can be. People want to hear your journey and they want to hear how you got there because it's helping them figure out how they're going to get from here to there. Having this platform, Marcus, and being on your show allows me to tell my story, allows me to say, hey, I went through some bumps. I know this stuff from experience. It's not because I read it in a book. I put it in a book, but I know these things through experience. And I appreciate you giving me the platform to share my story. But so that's moves. It is mindset reset, own your own title, value your relationships, evaluate your money relationship, and share your story.
Powerful, powerful. Woo! She's making moves. I don't know who she was talking to, y'all. She was talking to me. I felt attacked. I felt guilty. I felt guilty. Oh my gosh. But that is so true. I needed that. I needed you to say that because sometimes it's that tough love. Sometimes it's hearing it, even though we felt it. We felt it in our core. We felt it
Yeah.
internally, but hearing it now externally is going to force us to make the move. We have
Yeah.
another question from our VIP sponsor, Miss Erica. She is a horrible employee. However, I dream every day of leaving. The benefits keep me, but my business is suffering. How do I walk away before they force me out?
How do you know when they're going to force you out? They just come up with a date and they say bye. So I prepared myself and said, by the time I turn this age, I'm going to leave. And my job was like, nope, you're leaving today.
Mm,
So I didn't have a choice. I was kicked out at a time where I felt like I wasn't ready. But to answer your question, Erica, it's you have to feel ready. You have to be made ready to be vulnerable. You have to humble yourself, and you have to say, I need to take that leap of faith because it's hurting me more to stay here than it is to go. And here's a story I like to tell as well. Here's a story about a man and a dog. So the man, a dog, and a postman. I know this sounds like a bar story and I shouldn't tell it, but it is not, Marcus.
Nope, you open the door. You got to tell it now. You open the door.
So there's a post worker that walks up the street every day, and he sees this man and his dog on the porch, and the dog is howling. The dog is howling uncontrollably. So the post office guy walks by every day. So finally, gives this guy this dirty look and says, "What's wrong with your dog?" And the owner says he's sitting on a nail. He's like, "Well, why don't you do
Mm.
something about it?" He says, "It doesn't hurt bad enough. If it hurt bad enough, he'd move off that nail." So what I say to you, Miss Erica, when it hurts bad enough, you'd get off that nail.
Ooh. That was good. That was good. That was good. Round of applause, y'all, for Miss Katrina Roddy dropping bombs and those personal attacks. No, I'm kidding. I need to feel it.
It's not a
Need to.
personal attack.
I know. I am messing with you. That is good. You're right. It's not until it hurts enough will we get off the nail. You're so right. That was on cue. She's speaking to me, y'all. She's taking me to church. We have one more quick commercial break, y'all. Stay with us. Stay tuned for this powerhouse speaker. We'll be right back.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
Welcome back, y'all. If you're tuning in for the first time, this Gentleman Style Podcast, we have Katrina Roddy, and she's spilling the tea on how she transitioned and how she survived and how she pushed through corporate America, laying her off after dedicating her life and doing the 9-to-5 job like we all do, and how she's helping businesses and coaching businesses and mentoring families and friends and households to take that step and take that leap of faith and to push forward and to transition to that next phase of our life, whether or not someone sees the value in us or not. If you missed that, go back, tune in and check her out. She is a powerhouse speaker, and she's here on the Gentleman Style Podcast show today. Miss Katrina, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
A Black woman in corporate America and achieving high levels of success. I'm not gonna call it racist, but did you experience systematic injustices, and how did you handle them, and how should people handle those moments?
Of course I did. It's kind of a given. But you don't really know it because you're in it, right? And
Right.
so what I can say is that it just felt really odd at times because you knew that you were doing good, but you only compared yourself to your peers who were Black. And being at the level of insurance or the prestige area that I was in, there was only a handful of us. So we befriended each other right away.
Mm.
And then we judged each other based off of the accolades that we got. And it was phenomenal because we did a great job. The smartest people, had the highest degrees in these areas. But what we were missing was some of our white colleagues, or just at a different level, they could see themselves running the organization. They can see themselves as a CEO. They can see themselves as, right under second person as CEO. We never saw ourselves in those positions, so we never went for them. So that is what made you step back and say, hey, we're hovering around in this same little area, but we're doing well, but we never see ourselves in it's think about Hollywood and how there's so much talk about, Black people getting different roles and people seeing themselves in different roles or different roles on TV. They don't see themselves, it doesn't happen because you don't know it could happen for you. I am an Olympic junkie and I know that things could happen can't happen for me now, but that is some little girl's dream to see themselves play in gymnastics or play soccer or play whatever. When you see yourself in those roles, you go for those roles. And that's all I could say, in the whole systemic. There's more to it, but the basis for me was we didn't get higher than that little level that we were in.
Mm. Mm, mm, mm. If I could give her a microphone, right, so she could drop it, that was one of those mic drop moments, and I failed you guys. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna mail her a microphone so she could drop it.
You got to have your
Um,
mascot come out and do it for me.
the mascot. Where is my gentleman style mascot? He is scared right now. He is not messing around. He is not playing today.
There he is.
He doesn't want to play right now, but it's okay. But that was so good. That was a great question, Miss Erica. That was necessary. What
Thank
did
you,
you
Lord.
learn? Yeah, thank you, Miss Erica. What did you learn from your first year when you've been laid off? What did you learn? You probably learned a lot. You probably had to adapt and overcome. But what did you learn that first year as an entrepreneur?
Oh gosh, so much, so much. I can tell you this. When you come from corporate America, there's a certain stigma you have being an entrepreneur. And you come out and you're like, I know everything. I could do this on my own. I can really do. I was a high performer, and they don't care. Don't nobody care what you used to do. They were like, uh-huh, girl, that's great. But here now you're in a different pond. So I had to learn first to bring myself to a level where I was curious, because you have to stay curious to continue to grow. When you get to a point where you think you know it is, then your curiosity is right here and you don't want to listen to nobody. We have to keep our curiosity as a kid, which was expanded, so that we can give ourselves room to learn. So that was the first thing I learned is, okay, I don't know how to do that. I did not know what a VA was. I thought this was a person who would help me out of the army or the service or some armed forces. I was like, oh, that's a virtual assistant. I didn't know. So I literally had to teach myself a lot of these things. And that was part of me putting this book together. I was out networking with individuals and I would give them so much information until one lady said to me, you give out too much free information. Because that's what I was used to doing. And I decided at that point to take it all and put it in one spot. And that's where the book came about. So I learned patience. I learned how to be humble. And I learned how to try and change my mindset from employee status to becoming an entrepreneur.
Love that. Love that. Miss Katrina, how can we connect with you? How can we learn more from you? How can we grow with you? The train has left the station. The book is available where? And how can we get our hands on it? And how can we connect with you and learn more?
So my book is on Amazon, but you can connect with me and purchase my book through my website, and that is www.thecorporatebreakup.com. I'm on all social media platforms as KRODDY65. That's it. K Roddy 65.
Love it. Love it. You guys have to get on board with this phenomenal powerhouse lady. She's changing the world. She's changing the corporate structure, right? Corporate America, because of her, is now going to look a lot like us. And that's what we need. That's what we need to do. We need to change the landscape, one business, one family, one household at a time. And with her coaching, how can we schedule a call with you? Can we get some time with you?
Yes, you can. You can get right on my calendar and get 15 minutes with me. We'll talk. We'll see what we can do and if we need to move further in making sure that you get to your dream.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Schedule that call, y'all. Get connected. Get on board with her. Miss Katrina, you are a wealth of knowledge. And I'm so glad you responded to my message. You are a wealth of knowledge and a powerhouse speaker. I thank you for what you do. This is epic. Absolutely.
You have a wonderful platform. You have a wonderful show. So I feel honored to be here. So thank you, Marcus.
You're very welcome. Thank you for making time for us because we need you. I want to say this to you publicly. Don't ever quit. Don't ever give up. The world needs you. We need you. We need what you're doing, and we need the movement. The train has left the station, but we need you to continue on. So on the days that you're feeling low and not encouraged, please don't ever give up.
Thank you. Thanks for the encouragement. And thank you, audience members. I saw your questions and your comments. I appreciate you as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to thank you all for joining the Gentleman Style Podcast show today. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode. I hope it served you. I hope this was helpful. And I hope this was impactful to you and your business. And Miss Erica, if you are feeling on the fence about taking that step, connect, because we cannot grow alone. We can only grow together. And so connect. And I hope this has helped in some small way and made a difference in your life. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show and Miss Katrina Roddy signing off. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.